James Kaufman, World News Report today. Today is July 13th, 2025. God bless you and yours, no matter where you are in the world. Please subscribe, give us a thumbs up, ring that bell for critical future updates. Listen, we don't need any help down here in Texas. Yes, I did notice how FEMA didn't show up for days to help us out, but the Coast Guard did, and all the Texans. We had thousands of boats in the water and thousands of Texans working to save people during the flood. It's like no other state you'll ever be in. Remember, no one from the Civil War ever put their foot in Texas. Actually, they were stopped on the Red River by people like me and our plantations. We stopped them dead cold in Louisiana and Oklahoma. Texas can always take care of itself, unlike places like Massachusetts and California. And actually, we do a much better job if we secede from the Union, as our GDP is greater than 99% of all the countries in the world. I know a lot of states took the brunt of no FEMA. And you know what? We fill in. And so does Louisiana on that accord. Let's listen to what, our Secretary of Homeland Security had to say about this.
All right, joining us now, Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. Thank you for being here with us.
Absolutely.
It's just heartbreaking to hear these stories, and there has been a lot of back and forth about what the federal response was or wasn't. So I want to just come to you. Let's separate a little fact from fiction. There's this question about whether or not everything that passes through DHS that's a $100,000 contract or more has to be personally signed off on by you, because there are questions about whether that may have slowed things. Can you separate fact from fiction for us on that?
You know, that policy absolutely did not slow anything down. In fact, as soon as this flooding started early in the morning, I was on the phone with the lieutenant governor, with the governor, with the emergency responders that were there on the ground, and said, what do you need? And then got on a plane and headed there as soon as I possibly could. So
3 days later? What did slow it down then? Not that we care. We take care of ourselves in Texas.
I was there within hours. The Coast Guard had been immediately deployed as soon as we finished our phone calls. We also deployed our Border Protection Coast Guard, or our CBP and our patrol folks with their BORTAC teams that are specially equipped and trained for these types of situations. And then FEMA had over 700 individuals there helping to serve the community. So within hours they were there. This memo and this criticism, I think, is all politics, because I was there.
It's all truth. She was not there. No FEMA actual assets were deployed for at least 48 to 72 hours. These are more lies coming out of our administration. And hey, I'm starting to realize they all lie.
And every time somebody asked for something, we said, absolutely, it'll be here as soon as possible, and it'll be done. And that is what I think is so shameful, is that if you talk to the people on the ground, I've spent hours and hours there now, been there several days. Everybody there is so grateful. They recognize the response was immediate. It's unprecedented how the federal government came in and supported the state in this, and many lives were saved. Unfortunately, the tragedy of this is that so many were lost, and this community has got a long ways to heal, and we need to find these family members and bring them home.
Yes, and that continues around the clock. So this issue, though, of the $100,000, is it accurate to say that that is a policy position now moving forward? Because a Federal News Network went through and they said, based on the last 3 fiscal years' data, your office would have to approve more than 5,100 contract acts.
That is a policy that she enacted. Don't let her lie to you.
Worth that amount in the federal fourth quarter alone. So is it feasible? Because I know there's a check on wanting to get rid of waste, fraud, and abuse, but is it feasible for you to even do that personally?
Yeah, well, this is a policy that's wide throughout the Department of Homeland Security for accountability purposes, and every contract has been signed and evaluated immediately and signed off by me. I want that accountability in place because it's the taxpayer dollars, and we need to know that when those dollars are going out to help communities, it's actually getting there. You know, you all know FEMA's track record over the last several decades. There was so much waste, fraud, and abuse and not help, especially for individuals like that went through North Carolina and Florida when they were hit with hurricanes, claims that haven't been paid for 20 years. What is different about Texas is that FEMA operated how President Trump wanted it to operate. He wanted me on the ground immediately making decisions, pre-deployed dollars.
You didn't show up for 3 days. What's different about Texas is we take care of our own, period.
It's the fastest in history that FEMA has ever responded to a disaster, and I'm very proud of the fact that we didn't go there and manage it. We went there and allowed the local officials to manage it, to run it. The state did a fantastic job. We're there to support and give them what resources they need.
Okay, I want to give you a chance to respond to Senator Chris Murphy, Democrat, who said this on X. He says, the floods ripped through Texas on July 4th. On July 5th, FEMA received 3,000 calls from survivors. Only 1% went unanswered. That night, he says Trump and Noem fired the people who answered the calls. So on July 6th, FEMA received 2,363 calls. 65% went unanswered. July 7th, 85% went unanswered. He ended by saying sick. Were people fired who could have been helping at the time?
It's an absolute lie. And that's what I think is so disingenuous and horrible about the situation. Nobody was fired. No contracts were ended. Everybody was there answering calls and
Was this a distraction from Trump being on the flight logs? That's what you need to ask yourselves.
Doing all they could to help the people of Texas. So the fact that Democrats are politicizing this while people are still looking for their babies, they're still looking for their family members, I think is absolutely despicable. And the American people just, I think, need to know the truth of what they're doing and how they're taking advantage of this situation to help themselves politically. It's a disservice not just to the people of Texas and these families that are going through grief right now. It's a disservice to our country.
So let's talk through ICE, because that's obviously the other big story that's under your purview as well. So a federal judge issued a temporary restraining order against a lot of the ICE operations that have been carried out in Southern California just a couple of days ago. But in his order, he said this: defendants can't rely solely on the factors below, alone, or in combination to form reasonable suspicion for a detentive stop, except as permitted by law. He says apparent race or ethnicity, speaking Spanish or speaking English with an accent, presence at a particular location like a bus stop, a car wash, a tow yard, a day laborer pickup site, agricultural site, etc., or the type of work that one does. Now, the way that the LA mayor, Karen Bass, who celebrated this ruling, described it, she says this administration has been masked men grabbing people off the street, chasing working people through parking lots, and marching through children's summer camps. So what do you do with this ruling? Does it go to the Ninth Circuit? Do you do an emergency appeal to SCOTUS?
Well, this federal judge's ruling is ridiculous. We never ran our operations that way. We always built our operations, our investigations on casework, on knowing individuals that we needed to target because they were criminals, because they had conducted violent crimes against individuals in their communities or had overstayed their orders, had violated federal laws, and that is always how this is done. It's been done exactly how law enforcement has operated for many years in this country, and ICE.
Another nothing burger. You know what, guys? We're going to be live here in a bit. I hope you guys join us. You know you're not going to get anything but, well, a trumpet there. I wonder what that pension and those bonuses look like. God bless you and yours. Please share, subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible. Bizarro world.